What was it like when you first heard that you were going to varsity?
We had Jack and Patrick and I, the other two walk-ons, had just found out or just realized that we were going to. Coach said we could try out for the team, and our tryout was a couple weeks long. And he said, however long it takes me to decide whether or not I want to keep you, that's how long I'll take. So it took about 10 days. We were practicing with the team, just going through the same stuff that the team went through. And then one day before practice, Coach said, Jack, JB, and Patrick, we'd like to keep you guys, so you're on the team. Now let's go practice. So it was, you wanted to be excited, but at the same time, you had work to do for practice. And I was really excited, and talked to everybody after practice was over, and called my parents, and everyone was really, really happy. It was a great day.
Okay. What was that like playing with those guys the first time in practice?
It was. I'd played with them a few times in pickup, but once you get into practice, it's a whole new ball game. Definitely more intense with the coaches riding everybody's tail. So it was definitely more intense. Some very good athletes, very good players, as you well know. But it was a lot of fun getting to go against that kind of competition every day in practice.
And what were the JV games like? Were there big crowds there? Or?
JV is pretty sparsely attended. To tell you the truth, we had, I guess, mostly families. A few people, not a lot of people knew about it. So probably average about 50 or less fans a game. Just spaced out in the Smith Center. It gets kind of empty, but you kind of create your own energy, and it's still basketball in the Dean Dome. So still wearing that Carolina jersey, still had a lot of fun. Playing those games for those 2 years, some of the best 2 years of basketball I've had. So just had a lot of fun, create your own energy and play basketball with the guys that I love to play with.
And what was your high score that you remember in those JV games?
On the JV team, I had 36 twice.
Good.
So that topped my high school career high. But yeah, I had it twice in JV.
Describe Coach Roy Williams.
Very intense, very much knows what he wants, very good coach, very good recruiter. Definitely, has a system that's worked for him that he learned from Coach Smith and implemented at Kansas, and has now perfected and have a lot of success at Carolina, winning 2 national championships in I guess the 5 or 6 years he's been back. So he's definitely a very good coach. His assistants he has a very good staff behind him that he delegates well to, and very supportive. Everybody just kind of works together as a team, the coaching staff and the players included. But Coach Williams is very intense. He's a great coach, and obviously that's displayed by the team's success on the court.
Okay. And who did you guard during the practices?
During practices, usually it was Wayne Ellington.
Oh.
Sometimes split time on Ty Lawson. But yeah, those were my 2 main assignments. And of course, you got the other guards like Danny and Will Graves and Marcus Ginyard. Pretty much anybody that played the 1, 2, 3 position was my assignment. We kind of rotate through, but usually, starting walk-ons versus starting 5 is usually Wayne.
And what was it like guarding Ty? I know it's got to be hard to keep up with.
It's almost impossible to say the truth. You just kind of, do your best to stay in front of him. All those guys are such great athletes, such good basketball players, and you just do your best. You give it your best shot. You don't ever quit. You got to kind of try to think one step ahead of them, if that's possible. It still might not make a difference, but you just try to stay ahead of them as much as you can and give it your best shot. Hustle your tail off around the court, and on the defensive end especially. Guarding those guys, it definitely seems like an impossible task sometimes, but you have fun doing it each and every day.
And what was it like when you first stepped into the Dean Dome, and just when you started JV and got on that court? And
it's really, really big once you first get in there. I remember the first time walking in, you walk out from another tunnel and you look up and it's just like it never stops. It's just huge, just expansive space. But it was really cool, and actually the first time after playing JV, it was pretty empty, in there for varsity games and everything, but the first time I ran out of the tunnel with everybody, with it full, was pretty cool. That was at a late night with Roy. Part of our tryout was, I guess, started with late night with Roy in our junior year. So I just got kind of shoved to the front for some unknown reason. But yeah, I led the team out on the floor and threw warm-ups.
Cool.
Coming out on the floor with 22,000 screaming Carolina fans is pretty cool. And I was in that role for a couple of years. I had 2 years on varsity. And I don't know how I got it, but it was a lot of fun. Leading the team out on the floor.
Oh, that's cool. And Have you ever met Coach Smith? Or got to
I have.
Cool.
I have met Coach Smith. I think the first time I met him, I actually didn't know it was him. To tell you the truth, he was coming out just kind of. I was in a hurry. He was in a hurry. Just kind of passed. And I was like, man, that was Coach Smith.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I've talked to him a couple of times, very briefly. He still has an office down there near the Smith Center. Comes in occasionally. He's not around a whole lot, but he definitely shows up every once in a while. Coach Guthridge is also around quite a bit.
Oh, okay. And describe going to Ford Field this year.
I want to talk about the Dean Dome being huge, but Ford Field, my goodness, it was just humongous. That was a great experience. Had a lot of fun. Detroit, the city was okay. It wasn't anything like San Antonio, but I definitely liked the result in Detroit a lot better than we did in San Antonio. Definitely played a lot better. But the field there is definitely, I guess it's a field in the first place, so putting a basketball court in the middle of the field is definitely makes for an interesting scene. But it's very loud. It's a different kind of atmosphere, but it's definitely a really fun atmosphere to play in, especially being in the Final Four and national championship game.
And when they started running up the score, what were your feelings in your mind?
The first half of the national championship game was definitely, quite a clinic on Carolina basketball. Everything started coming together and clicking. Everybody started hitting on all cylinders. So coming in at halftime, the starts kind of begin to form. It's kind of like this for every game. Me, Jack, and Pat always used to talk about, taking bets on how much time we would get. But that game was definitely, you kind of felt it coming. But Coach Williams always has that in the back of his mind. He's up 20 with a minute to go. There's still always that chance that he can come back almost. So he did wait a while before he put us in. But I was definitely very grateful and very excited to be going in, national championship, especially knowing that we had it won and we're up by enough that with a little amount of time left that we had accomplished our goal and won the national championship.
And how many minutes? Do you remember how?
I think I got a little over a minute. I got about 25 seconds my junior year at the end of the Kansas game, a little over a minute this year. It was just a lot of fun. At that point, it doesn't really matter how much basketball that was just pure excitement and joy just going out there on the court and being a part of it.
Do you know who had the ball last?
I want to say Mike Copeland had the ball last.
Okay.
I actually got the ball just swung around. I did take a shot or didn't enter the stat book in any form except for the 1 minute. But it was just a lot of fun. I think Mike Copeland had it, threw it up there at the end before everybody ran on the court. But it was a great time. It was a good time in my life.
And when did you get your ring?
We get 3 rings, which is kind of
cool.
interesting. We won from the NCAA, which I do already have, and we get one for our ACC regular season championship, and then one for the national championship. We'll probably get those, either one or both of those, in the fall or later in the summer. They might do a ring presentation at the football game, something like that. So probably go back to Chapel Hill for some kind of ceremony.
And what are your plans now?
I'm going up to be a graduate assistant and be in grad school at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. They just got a new head coach up there, Shaka Smart. He replaced Anthony Grant, who left for Alabama. New staff, and they've had some success for the past few years. So if they join in, contribute, and go to grad school at the same time, get my degree in sports leadership there at VCU.
And are you nervous going into this weekend?
I'm getting married this weekend on Saturday in about 5 days, I guess. I'm a little nervous, a bit, definitely more excitement though than nervousness. Marrying Christy, and she's a wonderful young lady, and I definitely, very excited to be starting our lives together.
Yeah. How long have you known Christy?
I've known Christy. Didn't know her. She's from Hendersonville. Did not know her in high school. Knew her as a volleyball player from Hendersonville High. She knew me as a basketball player from West. So didn't know each other per se, but met each other Christmas break freshman year, actually, and started dating and proposed to her last August. So a little over 2 years we've known each other. And getting married, she'll be teaching 8th grade science up in Richmond at a middle school there.
And if you could just describe your past experience, and for players that may want to try to walk on or stuff like that.
It's definitely a lot of work. Coming out of high school, I had the goal of getting a Division I college basketball scholarship, and that was a big priority in my life. And that didn't work out. I mean, I had some D3 offers, non-athletic scholarship because they can't give athletic grant and aid, but Looked at going some D2 places, D3, that kind of thing, but just decided I wanted to go somewhere where I would enjoy the school, and when I graduated from there, I would be proud of my degree. So I chose to go there. But as far as the basketball side of it, a lot of time and effort, and if you put in the time and effort, and the Lord knows what He's doing, and things will definitely work out. You can't not get results from putting in that time and effort. So all those days and nights shooting in the gym and putting in the time in high school, and even my 2 years on JV, definitely putting in the time there, seemed to pay off in those 2 years on varsity. And then once you get there, it's not necessarily a cakewalk. It's definitely a lot of big time commitment there, and a lot of hard work, a lot of travel. But you make a lot of friends, form a lot of relationships that you'll have for the rest of your life, and it's definitely well worth it, well worth the time and effort to go through that and have a national championship to show for it. So I would just encourage anybody that if they do want to do that, don't ever put it on the shelf, because I'm definitely not the biggest athletic specimen there is, being 6 foot and can't jump very high. But just find something you're good at and do it the best of your ability.